My career as a college counselor was all about communication. I was always attracted to science, and most of all, I needed art in my life. When I retired, I enrolled in an art program. While researching an assignment, I stumbled upon great images on the net. I was fascinated by those drawings. Were they done digitally? Who was the artist? My husband and I decided to reach out. We got in touch with the owner of the collection, and he told us a great story. This artist would greatly influence my own development as an artist. I have become a friend of the collection, and by making this documentary, I'm hoping to add to the growing resources dedicated to make Zanis Waldheims known. Here's a quest for balance.
Zanis Waldheims was born in Riga, Latvia on September 19, 1909. His parents, Paulina and Ernest Waldheims, are of Polish origin. He grows up and is educated in periods of turmoil during the two world wars in the Latvian War of Independence in 1919, where Latvia gained its independence from Russia. In 1944, at age 35, he obtains his diploma in law from the University of Riga. The wars had a strong impact on his personal and political views. The conclusion of the Yalta Conference in February 1945 had the democratic Occidental powers handing over Latvia and other countries back to the Russian communist rule. The equal presence of the Russian communist regime on the Nuremberg trials jury to judge the Nazi criminals added further insult to injury and mined his confidence in the political leadership. He flees Czechoslovakia with his wife, Irene Migla, his son Uldis, and daughter Valda. They end up in the United Nations refugee camps in Bamberg, Germany. They separate in 1949. These events motivated Zanis Waldheims to find a new course to find hope and balance. He needed to orient himself in the world where words promised everything but delivered only pain and cruelty. While in Paris, he meets Bernadette Pex, a Latvian who had also fled the communists in 1944. She worked as a governess who educated children of a wealthy French family. Waldheims immigrates to Montreal in 1952 aboard the Cunard liner SS Scythia. Bernadette joins them the following year. He works at Alexander Warehouse from 1953 to 1962. During these years, he reads as many works from historians, mathematicians, philosophers, and classics in other fields of science and literature. In 1962, he quits his job to dedicate himself to his work of geometric abstraction. Bernadette is the only one there to support him during the next 10 years. Zanis Waldheims wanted to create a visual language as a tool to help us in the analysis and understanding of our world and ideas, where the focus on extremes creates imbalance. He imagined units of meanings in pairs of shapes that can represent an individual's personal context. They represent the full extent of our physical world that lies outside us, along with the complement of pure abstraction that resides internally in our minds. Other units of meaning combine the five senses and emotions along with the thought and analysis processes as we use them to perceive our world, people, and relationships. Between these shapes is an equilibrium point. These shapes are recombined to illustrate the person as a whole with the varying degrees possible between the two poles or extremes of our existence. This is the foundation of the first level of our consciousness or being. These shapes are integrated in the center of a second level, the subconscious, where dynamics of the individual with their world happens on the physical, intellectual, past and future dimensions all at once. The complexity continues on to the third level of the unconscious and further on beyond our basic understanding. Waldheims found a system to free us of what he called the linearity or single dimension of words. Geometric abstraction illustrates all at once in 2 and 3 dimensions the complexities of our world and our being. Beyond the more than 630 drawings in coloring pencil, Waldheims documented various facets of his life and the times he lived in. He obtained a copyright for his thesis in 1972. He continually wrote annotations in books, personal diaries, letters and documents. He worked on sculptures and artifacts to enhance the message in his drawings. Why is he still relatively unknown? He was a loner. He did not frequent the art circles that could have made him known. He did not seek to sell his work, make money, or to be sold out. He believed that words and text did not convey his message as effectively as his drawings did. However, his ideas are so abstract that his limited entourage was challenged to grasp what he drew when they were seeking explanations in words. Waldheims felt misunderstood, but persevered. While he was ignored by some, one man connected with him on a higher level through encounters in the workplace in the naval engineering domain in Montreal. The man is Zanis Waldheims. So what kept you going all those years?
Well, it's the aesthetic experience that I have lived originally when I saw those drawings for the first time. They were so fascinating, and I wanted to know more about those drawings. So I wanted to know about the geometry, and the aesthetic experience that I have lived pushed me to go further and further into that knowledge, to that art.
Describe your relationship with the man.
The relationship with that man is a camaraderie. We had fun together, even though he was a serious guy. We had fun together, and we had lunch every 2 to 3 weeks. We had lunch, and his wife would prepare a dinner, a lunch, and we had a bottle of wine so we could discuss about Europe and Canada, and it was really fun.
How long have you known him?
For 40 years. Well, I met him, I was 23 years old, and I was with him for about 19 years, and now it's 20 years he's dead. From 20 years ago he died.
What have you gained from knowing him?
Well, I cannot say I gained anything. I had a life experience with that guy. It pushed me to know more about arts, about science, about maths, about geometry, about sociology, about physics, and everything like that. That's what I gained. I was curious, and he could feed my curiosity.
When will you know your work is done?
It will never end, because there's so many things to be discovered that there's no end to it. And I've been looking at this project for the last 40 years, and I never stop, and it will never stop. And lately, and very interestingly, people are starting to know about that guy. They want to know more, and my dream is to have people to get to know more about that guy, to pick up the ideas and see his life and his story, and maybe do a film on that.
By discovering Zanis Waldheims, the world inherits insight into the life of a survivor, a trek with an adventurer in his quest for meaning, a body of abstract art, and an approach in the quest for balance.
What a privilege to be part of this fascinating story and adding my own footprint by producing this documentary. In the process, my husband and I have made friends with the owner of the collection. I have gained insight in what it takes to become an artist with conviction. I did not know when I saw the first of Zanis Waldheims' drawing that it would have such a profound effect on my life, and that I would follow Yves Janson's enthusiasm. Every day, I take inspiration in Zanis Waldheims' theory in my own quest for balance.